fired head coach Mike Budenholzer after just one season. That is per multiple reports. Now, Phoenix went just 36-46 this season, finishing 11th in the West and missing the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Ashley Nicole Moss joining us now with his breaking news. Second straight one and done out of Phoenix. What's the latest you're hearing there? Are you surprised that Budenholzer got fired today?
I'm not surprised at all. This Suns team has drastically underperformed in some way or another since kind of their construction, whether it was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker or whether Bradley Beal. Now, I will say this, and the coach is always the first domino to fall when there's a change that is being made or needs to be made, whether or not it's completely the coach's fault, right? And I say that to say Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, immensely talented when all healthy, when all on the court at the same time. But as we know, that has been a problem for this Suns team, having those three guys on the court at the same time. And also, when you talk about the modern NBA or where the NBA is at this current point in time, that construction of a top-heavy offense where you just rely on three superstars, three all-stars coming together and winning a championship just does not work anymore. We are now seeing you need complete teams to win in the NBA in the year 2025. This is not the Big Three in Boston when they won their championship with Ray Allen and Rondo and those guys. It takes more than just three guys. And I think this Suns team, whether it was because Devin Booker has been part of the organization for so long, whether it's Kevin Durant and him getting up there in age, wanted to give themselves the best chance to win immediately. And they thought, let's go ahead and get three guys together and microwave ourselves a championship. It does not work by the firing of Coach Bud, but I will say this: he's an excellent coach. We have seen him win before, and I don't believe that the failure of the Suns organization is all on his shoulders.
As you mentioned, health is such a big part of this. They have a big three over there. What is Phoenix Suns team?
It's the question mark of where does Kevin Durant go if he does go anywhere, right? You would have to believe that the firing of this head coach, of their head coach rather, is a way to maybe show Kevin Durant like, hey, we're willing to do whatever we have to do to keep you. That's just me assuming, right? I'm not an issue between Coach Bud and Kevin Durant, although there were multiple videos that showcased that he may not have been the happiest with him throughout the season, but losing does that. It kind of causes issues in the locker room. It causes issues with your premier talent. So I don't know if this is the Suns' way of saying whatever we need to do to make you happy, Kevin Durant, we're going to do. But you would have to think that if you're KD, you're also looking at the situation like the coach wasn't the only issue. And in order to get assets, you have to move one of those three guys, and it's realistic that Devin Booker is not going to be moved. Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, so he can dictate where he goes. And Kevin Durant, although he's closer to 40 than he is to 20, is still one of the greatest players in the game right now. You can get a lot of return from him if you were to trade him in the offseason. It's just a matter of which of those guys will be moved to give the Suns their best chance in building and constructing a real roster with a real chance of winning, and whether or not that roster is going to include Kevin Durant. That's the big question mark moving into the offseason for the Suns.
The Suns finishing 27-44 following that 9-2 start. Head coach Mike Budenholzer now gone. I want to ask you before you leave, they fired their executive vice president, David Griffin, as well. After 6 seasons, the franchise will have a new head of basketball operations. What's your take on that move, Ash?
That I'm not surprised with at all. Although the Pelicans changed organizations, or front offices rather, in order to make this team better run, it had been rumors circulating, even going back to JJ Redick and Anthony Davis, that the front office wasn't really good at maintaining and keeping. And this change was to kind of push back against that narrative. But you look at what they have done, and again, I wouldn't say all of this going back is the fault of David Griffin. You can't win games if you And the biggest piece of that health puzzle goes to Zion Williamson. He's a tremendous talent, but talent means nothing if you're unable to utilize it. And unfortunately for the Pelicans, that has been their reality of their relationship, their tenure with Zion. This particular season was just a domino effect of injury. The closest comparison you can make is the Dallas Mavericks after they traded Luka and everything that transpired after that. But the same thing was happening to the Pelicans way before that trade was even thought of. So again, you can't put that on the head coach. You can't even put that on the front office. But I think that the Pelicans know this. There is a lot of talent on this roster. I think when healthy, this is a talented young basketball team. They just have to figure out how to, one, fill in the gaps, B, figure out how to keep this team healthy and start winning basketball games. And that is going to be the biggest task for the Pelicans going into the offseason.
Ashley, you always say your best ability.
Few that you guys agree on. So these are the three, no argument.
Locks.
Everybody agrees. Peyton Pritchard, Steph Castle, SGA, boom, up the ladder. Now, we will start with Defensive Player of the Year. This is when you guys start to disagree, Lou. Why don't you go first? Who you got?
I like Dyson Daniels out of Atlanta. You know, when Wemby went down, it was a big void, and a lot of guys started making their cases for Defensive Player of the Year. Guy averaged 3 steals a game, went and got a record that was untouched for 15 years in single season in steals. I just like how disruptive he was this year, and I wanted to shine light on the guards. Like, you know, we've been talking about possibly splitting this award into the guards and to the bigs because of impact on the ball and what the bigs do at the rim. I like what this guy does on the ball and how he's been able to go out and compete at a high level on the defensive end and just be disruptive. So I like Dyson Daniels for my pick.
By the way, I hope it is a guard because I feel like the guards have the hardest matchup. Like Tony Allen said, like there's no off night. No, I'm
gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
I don't think it's gonna be a guard, but I hope it is. Like a Lou Dort of the world. You know how good the Thunder are offensively. Chet, Jalen, they all get the credit. Lou Dort on that team is so valuable, and he's clamping the best offensive player every single night. Now,
wait, so do you have Lou Dort?
With that being said, no, I have Evan Mobley because bigs always
let you finish.
Because bigs always win it. I think rebounding, block shots, I think that matters when it goes into this award. Like a Rudy Gobert. Tell me Rudy Gobert those 4 years was the best defender in the NBA?
I don't think anyone agrees with that.
I don't think
weirdly.
he was. I think the impact of shot blocking and rebounding has more to do with all the matchups that the guards have to face every year. So the Cavs have been consistently great defensively all year long. They're a top 10 defensive team, and Evan Mobley made that huge jump and is the reason why. And he's the catalyst on that defensive team. They're the best team in the East all year long. Pretty much one of the best teams in the whole NBA all year long. And defensively, it's because of Evan Mobley.
Okay, but Draymond